Now we move on to our next session. The topic is innovative marketing campaigns for kids, the right connect. And we are in conversation with Tarandeep Singh Sekhon, Marketing Director, Kidzania, India, joined by Sonali Bhattacharya, Head of Marketing, Kids TV Network, Wycom 18, Azmat Jagmag, Head of Marketing and Corporate Communications, Discovery Communications, India, Lokesh Kataria, Head of Marketing and Franchise, India Metal Toys, India Private Limited, Sujoy Roy Bardhan, Head Marketing and On-Air Promotions, Sony Ye. Over to you, Tarandeep Singh Sekhon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother, for the lovely introduction. My name is Tarandeep. You can call me Taran, and it's a pleasure to host this session. I've been, we've been associated with the India Kids Summit since the first year. This is just the second season. I still remember, it was such a fab day having all the marketers at Kidzania and doing the event. Although it's virtual this year, I'm sure, next year things would become normal and we can see you again at the Kidzania premises. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sonali, Azmat, Sujoy, and Lokesh for joining in this session. I met Sujoy and Lokesh briefly, It's my first interaction with you, Sonali and Azmat, although your teams have been in touch with me over the past few years. So let's, deep dive onto the topic. The discussion point is innovative marketing campaigns for kids for this TG. And while even I was preparing notes, there was a lot which was going on, what I could ask you. But the idea today is just to pick from you things that have worked for you and try to understand your processes. Even I am curious, I'm actually curious to know how it works for you. How do you go about the thinking and the execution process? Because in real world, Sujoy and we were interacting for a partnership which we've just finalized, but it's purely work. It's work play. So I'll take this opportunity just to get into, pick onto your minds and get some learnings for myself as well. So the first topic is actually, what I want to understand is how does one go about creating winning marketing campaigns? So I know it's very theoretical in nature, but from your experiences, so, is there a process, a formula, what is the spark, what you look for, or what are the things, which help you trigger to get these great ideas, which works? All said and done, a TG is, I think, the most challenging. Marketing to kids is no child's play is my favorite phrase. So what I want to understand, how do you go about, in your professional lives working and trying to get these blockbuster ideas? How you get the creative, juices flowing? Is there a formula or what's the process? You can suggest to all the panel, to all the invitees here. I'm sure they will be happy to learn. So let me start with Sonali, and then we'll have a round robin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me on the panel. And I hope everyone is safe and healthy, cooped up indoors. But yeah, as happy as one can be cooped up indoors. So to answer your question, Tarandeep, I don't really think there is any set formula when it comes to creativity and especially marketing to kids who are a very dynamic and whimsical target group. But there are certain universal truths that remain constant no matter who your TG and the profile you're catering to is. And I think it all stems from that one big insight that you unearth when it comes to communicating with your TG. So in our case, clearly it's the kids, and whether it's Azmat, Sujoy, we all work at different places, but the job that we do is very similar, and that is to keep this TG very, very enthused and engaged. So I guess when you discover that one key emotional hook that resonates with the kid, then the idea stemming from there is I would say the next in line. If I were to use the word process, that would be the next part of the process. And as marketers, we know that if we don't execute the idea brilliantly, the idea just remains in your head and then on a very fancy PowerPoint slide, which doesn't really help anybody other than the 3 people you presented it to. So I think the excellence in executing that wonderful, insightful idea is what brings it alive for the kids. Unfortunately, we are fairly handicapped currently with the pandemic. And there are a lot of things I'm sure we would want to do with our amazing ideas that we cannot do because many of the marketing vehicles that we would want to use are unfortunately out of reach. But yes, we have all pivoted and we've started using every possible screen available to us to reach out to this very elusive TG, which are the kids.
Thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
hope I could somewhat answer it. I did try my best in trying to answer it without making it sound like a set algebra algorithm, because it's not that. You can't.
So I think, see, again, although it's a very theoretical question, the idea was just to, pick on your brains. I'm sure there are a lot of budding marketers, as invitees. So that's the idea. But I think one thing which is very important, and I can just imagine it, we have day-to-day meetings, presentations, getting that slide executed in the way it was conceived, deliberated, discussed is, I think, you're bang on there. So thank you so much. We'll move to Azmat, if you could share your practices, how you go about this challenge.
Yeah, hi. Sure, Taran. And, I am really a newbie on this panel, honestly, and I would put myself in a budding kids content marketer space, and all of the others out here are stalwarts, right, in the genre. I joined Discovery like around 6 months back. And I'll speak of you as my experience, because I've had a very outside in view on kids marketing in the last couple of months, right? So, and I'm going to be extremely candid. In the beginning, when I used to sit through the content, or I used to sit through the marketing ideas or a song idea, there were so many times I was like, oh no, how can we do this? No, but this doesn't make sense. And I literally had to transition from my rational thinking, intelligent, algorithm oriented, marketing thinking brain, because in the past I have marketed to say GC and OTT, and also on Discovery, the role is such that you're marketing across different genres. I think one thumb rule that I have got in my very short journey so far of 6 months is you really need to, for as a marketer, transition to, becoming that viewer, to become, invoking the child in you. Because I've heard songs and I was like, are we sure we want to do this? But, oh no, but is that making sense? And to me, that's been the challenge, okay, now it's transitioned to, hell, it's not making sense to me. Perfect, go for it. It's almost come to this thing, because, kids, and I must call this out for the D-Kids team in totality, the content, OAP, the marketing team. They actually transition to that. When I sit in the meetings, in the D-Kids meetings, it's my actual stress buster meeting, because you see that energy, you see that innocence, you see, the need to actually be the TG that they're creating and marketing content for. So that's been a thumb rule for me. I have left my overthinking rational brain behind while marketing to kids. That's one thing that I'm trying to do. Of course, the genre is evolving, the audience is evolving, marketing no longer is just, digital is like all the other genres playing a very important role in the kids as well. In fact, for me, it was a learning again in the last couple of, months, that there are kids influencers, there's RUPU, we just met this lovely Pari right now. And as somebody who had never experienced them, as influencers, when the team used to come to me with proposals of working with them, I was like, but is anyone consuming them? Is anyone watching them? And oh my God, the kind of responses we get when we do influencer-led activation, even so, that is a, up and rising digital influencer marketing, not only in the other genres, but kids as well. There is a little Singham game, which has like some 20 million downloads already. So the works, but the general thumb rule is Be the kid, don't overthink, don't if it brings a smile onto your face, if it gets you to tap your feet, go for it. The Little Singam song has around 100 million views on YouTube. That's a massive number with no promotions and no celebrity. So yeah, that's I'm still learning in the game, like a lot of budding marketers on the panel, but these are my initial, takeaways of the genre.
Thank you. I think you've got the point bang on. Again is, role play as a kid. So I'll just share my quick experience. So luckily, my office, when things were normal, there is the park downstairs where there are thousands of kids running every day, and we just sit upstairs. So we want to do any dipstick, or, we just have a one-off bad day, we can just go down, get the energy, get the vibes. And just again, taking on to your point, I've done so much of dipstick. At times we've got these brilliant ideas, which, I think we were just like horseshoed, we could never even think about them.
Yes,
even
yes.
by kids randomly there on floor as
Yeah.
they enjoy. So thank you
I know,
so
I've
much.
experienced that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll move on to Lokesh next. The toys and the play man, if I could say. So your thoughts.
Hey,
So
hey,
how
Taran,
do you
thanks.
go about? How do you go about it?
Yeah, thanks. So no, again, been here for 5 years, and I think what Azmat is going through, I went through the first 6 months working in an FMCG organization, coming to a kids organization. It is difficult, and from a perspective of a marketeer, marketing to teenagers, marketing to grown-ups, compared to marketing to kids, it's difficult. It's not easy. It's not a cup of tea, because kids you won't get insights as much as you have insights on the teenage genre or the grown-up genre. And a lot of times I've seen that the insights fall flat on their face unless and until you have a clutter-breaking idea which kids didn't know it's coming and hitting them. Most of the times what we have seen is that kids have a big influence coming in from their peers. One, so I'll give an example. About 8 years ago, when my son was 3 years old and I was still in Gurgaon, and my son heard about Kidzania opening up somewhere in Bangalore. I guess your first tour was in Bangalore or somewhere. He got to know it from a friend that, there is a theme park specifically opened up for kids where I could be a pilot, or I could be a baker, or I could be a chef. Now, things when they discussed between the kids, it's kind of a thing, "Tune kar liya, maine nahi kiya." I need to do the same thing. And my kid was actually pushing me to, let's go to Bangalore, let's do this. Obviously, we didn't do it, but it gives you an insight of the influence that the kids have within their own community. Now, you heard Pari in the previous session. There is a big kidfluencer market over there, which is just up for the grabs. Now, if somebody is listening over here and wanting to market to kids, I think the first step for you is to identify your brand with the kids, what they are currently in the trend, and then go to these guys and ask them to, and I'm sorry, there are kids channel representatives over here, but the reach that you get from the kidfluencers is pretty much better compared, and also it is much more engaging. It is much more meaningful, because, TV channels, when they skip the TV channels, ye cartoon nahi, wo cartoon dekhunga, jab TV break aa gaya hai, commercial break aa gaya hai, and all those things. A kidfluencer, when you watch a kid, and we did this dipstick and we watched kids watching or talking to a kidfluencer, there is zero intervention. There is zero distraction. So for us, the learning has been that unless you evolve along with what kids want or what they are currently into it, you will not be able to make a successful marketing strategy. And it is difficult already as it is to market to kids. Kids are very, very, the time span of their attention is pretty low actually, not slow, very low. So you have to impress them on the first day. And the other thing, the final thing that I want to say is, a lot of times kids don't know what they want. They don't know what's coming in the trend. They don't know what's going to be the next big thing. So you have to be a step ahead of them in a lot of things and tell them that, look, this is what is a new thing, now enjoy. 50% times you will hit it, 50% times you won't hit it, but you should be prepared to take that 50% of failure and move on with the 50% of success, so that you can learn more and improve that 50% hit ratio. So that's my 2 cents on what I've learned so far. The other only thing is that more and more you see how, and pandemic, yes or no, kids were already on digital, kids were already on screen, kids were already talking to other kids on mobile phones and iPads. And there is a huge market over there where they do community gaming sessions and they talk to each other a lot. That is where I think the media consumption, when I say media consumption, the time content is consumed by the kids has been moving to. That's what we need to keep in mind. And we need to drive our purpose or our message of the brand to that direction.
Thank you, Lokesh. I think I'd like to share some insights on us, Kidzania, working with a lot of kid influencers, but it directly now relates and links to Sujoy, because I just read, I think, a couple of weeks back, if I'm not mistaken, Sujoy, you all did something very big with one very famous kid influencer. So I'll leave it to you. So you may even share this best practice and also take us through your thoughts and views on how you get, juices flowing to get the best marketing campaigns.
Thanks, Jan. So it was so lovely to hear all of y'all and your thoughts on, and Azmat, while you are saying that you're a newbie here, clearly your thoughts didn't reflect any bit of the newbiness while you shared your ideas.
Thank you.
So I'll quickly, these are the basic things that we generally do, or I have as filters when we plan a campaign. First of all, campaign to me, it becomes a little bit of a bad word when it comes to kids marketing. To begin with, the filter that we should apply, or rather we apply to anything that to do with kids marketing is the product itself for kids. The simple filter that we apply is that unless and until you are selling imaginative imaginative idea for kids, you are not there. You are not even taking the right proposition to kids. So all of us on the screen today, or discussing, each one of us have a product that is tackling the imaginative side of kids, right? So unless you have that, you are not even there as a proposition. So that's your first filter. There are a few other pointers that you possibly look at. One is, so I'm only talking about the communication piece. I'm not too much diving into the media piece per se. Is that kids are never transactional. Lokesh just mentioned that kids don't know what they want. I would assume that for any human, I don't think any of us know what we want. And that goes for kids as well. But once they form a bond, they will form a bond like no one else, right? There are so many such reflections that you see while people are talking as well, like Azmat talking about how their cartoons does well on multiple platforms. So honestly speaking, media is quite agnostic when it comes to building bonds. As long as you're building a bond with your product with kids, it doesn't really matter which platform you are, because kids will want to lap up that bond and would want to engage across all platforms. Of course, building that connect is what we do in marketing, and that's why campaign is such a bad word, because campaign is transactional. Campaign is in and out. I give you something, you get it, and you do something. In the kids category, what we've seen is campaigning is not what. So building on something, building on a property over a period of time, getting kids to understand what this property is, extending those properties into having multiple lives, and then building an ecosystem around it is pretty much the zone that we would love to be in. When we develop characters, earlier there were characters that were simply bought from the library and played on the channel. The entire channel industry has broadcasting industry for kids has completely changed. Everybody thinks of ideas where licensing is a part of it. The conversations that we are having with Kidzania is a part of it, because you want your brand to be exposed in multiple avenues where kids are present, and do that as an exercise to have a life of that particular show or the character in multiple ways, right? And it defies, a campaign completely defies that entire purpose that we are trying to build. So long term is what kids would love to have. Influence is another piece that kids' minds are fairly pure. Their lives are pretty much out of influences that they have with friends, with family, with parents, with what they see on television, and so on and so forth. Because individualism is still at a very nascent stage for them, influence plays a very big role. So influence, I would consider not just as a digital influence piece, but if you consider influence as a big major tool to touch their lives, connect with them, then that's a larger concept than just having influencers on digital. So yes, you're right, we do work with a lot of influencers, but we try and have these as an influencing piece, not just as a, like I said, not as a transactional piece on digital, but as a holistic piece where we are trying to build something that may or may not work finally, because it's not that everybody's got an answer to building something over a period of time.
Thanks, Sujay. I think it absolutely makes sense that it's all about, building, eventually it's building the brand affinity, rather than we take it as one particular tactical strategic campaign and just, get past it. Thank you so much. So I was shocked to see we've already shot more than 50% of the time allotted to us with the first question, but it's okay. So I'll quickly move to the next question, which is again, just to get what are your best campaigns. So this is actually in two parts. We could just quickly go through them. One is the best campaign you've done recently at your organization, if you could share a bit about it. And second is any other brand's campaign, which caught your eye in the last few months or year. So again, we'll follow the same sequence. If Sonali, on to you, one campaign which you've done and something which caught your eye.
So honestly, yeah, it's very tough to pick, because as we've heard from the panelists, in this category, we don't really look at it as just a 3-week or a 4-week burst of a product. Unlike FMCG and other durables, the broadcast sector at least works in a way that the child is actually consuming your product every minute of the day. He's living it, seeing it, breathing it. He doesn't, and then of course you build the ecosystem, you purchase products, you have licensing deals, take it across various platforms. But since you put me on the spot and you're making me choose a particular campaign, I would like to call out and yeah, I am going to do a Nickelodeon plug here, because your question was very direct on which campaign we have done recently that I'm very proud of. So we have something called the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards that is a very, very established brand property. And it hinged on a very large on-ground event culminating the entire initiative for us. And the key insight which it hinged on is kids being empowered enough to vote for their favorites in every sphere, be it sport, gaming, movies, actress. Okay, and now the pandemic hit. So we were fairly stuck in terms of how do we execute something which needed a large on-ground event. Clearly, as brand people, we do get very attached to our brand properties and we don't want to let it go. Despite the environment changing, we want to stick to certain properties and keep them constant. So yeah, we rethought and reimagined and changed a lot of the categories and did the entire initiative virtually. And honestly, we were very worried, because Kids' Choice Awards without a Shah Rukh Khan or Hrithik Roshan dancing at Film City meant something very different. And we were worried, will we be able to pull it off? Is it even going to be worth it? But it honestly did better for us than any other year where we've put this very large scale expensive event. And a large part of the credit goes to this new breed of influencers that we've heard so much about, where we had a KCA influencer squad that mobilized the audiences to vote for their favorites. It took on a momentum of its own that even we didn't imagine. And we had celebrities like Tiger Shroff and name the A-listers who gave their sound bites, who accepted the Kids' Choice Award trophy, which is the Nickelodeon blimp, in fact, and did that without a single penny, thanked the brand, thanked the kids. And that's what I'm going to take a leaf from what Sujoy said, the bond that you build with your characters and brand, that is what is priceless. You don't need to even pay a celebrity at times if they feel your proposition is unique and the relationship that they have with your brand is unique and priceless. So yes, we got the maximum number of votes, maximum number of SOB on social, and it was an amazing learning for us. And yes, we hope to take it forward year on year with or without the pandemic.
Super, super. On to you, Azmat. Let's hear your.
Quickly, I'll just give like a headline thought in the interest of time. So again, Sujay mentioned the connect piece, right? So I'll not talk about a campaign, but so COVID struck, we all know, and what do we do? So Little Singham, such a powerful character. So the kids are so obsessed with, what he is all about. We thought that how do we use it in a positive way, right? So we actually kind of diverted a lot of activations, a lot of promotions that we had planned to use Little Singham as a character to spread and talk about COVID, the safety, the protocols. And this actually came from an FMCG thought, which I think Lokesh would have been a part of, if maybe building across times, like Dettol, Dettol Ho. Like my niece washes her hands to Dettol, Dettol Ho, because she's seen it in the TVC. So we use that for Little Singham. We used him to establish all the safety protocols, the works to be followed. We got sponsorships on it. But I think the best thing that came out of it is the amount of response that we got from people to saying that, hey, you are just doing the right thing, putting out the right message using Little Singham's Connect, So that was something that we're truly very proud of.
Superb. On to you, Lokesh.
Yeah, again, in short, I think one of the biggest challenges that we faced was the onset of the pandemic in the last year and how we reacted to it. I think one of the things that makes me very proud is the way we reacted globally to it, along with all the markets around the world. And we launched it because we know we knew actually the biggest sufferer of all of these pandemic lockdowns and impact coming out there would be actually kids at home. They don't get to go down to play. They don't get to talk to their kids face to face. They don't actually get to go to school. They don't meet up their friends in the school bus and all. So we knew that one of the biggest suffering population over there is going to be kids. And we created this online resource, which is called Plays Never Cancelled, which actually, as it says, is that even though in these times your play should not be cancelled, we created this resource for not only kids to engage online with their favorite toys as well as activities. So we did not limit it to one brand or one toy. We gave them a host of activities, whether you want to do it online live or whether you want to take printouts and do it offline. And also not only for kids, but because we knew that the next thing that is going to be troubling them is the participation of the parents or caregivers along with them. So we actually invented and put up the activities which kids could do with their parents, with their caregivers, and how do the caregivers and parents engage their kids. I think that was pretty simple thought, but the execution and the kind of impact that we've had millions of views, we've had millions of downloads, we've had millions of feedback coming and engagement coming. But what I think personally I'm very proud of is that, one, it is not a selling campaign. Second, it is not a brand specific campaign. And third, it talks to the occasion on the particular impact that we were seeing on one of our core audiences, and it successfully engaged that particular audience. So I think that was one of the best things that I could recall in recent times. It still continues. It will continue till the time we are in these troubled times. So that was a quick one from myself.
Thank you. On to you, Sujoy.
Yeah, again, I'll also speak something that we've done during the times, because honestly speaking, these times have been challenging, not just for us, for kids, for marketeers alike. And of course, most great ideas come out of challenges like this. What happened was we had an entire summer month, which is actually supposed to be one of the highest, in terms of the GRPs garners for a kids category, and we had nothing, no platform that we could actually reach out to outside of television that we could promote our products. But having a setup on the digital platform, which actually doesn't go out and necessarily outwardly sell your particular show, but engage them onto workshops, into dancing competitions, into drawing and DIYs and things like that, which ran pretty much throughout the entire summer period till the time this school reopened, became like a a nukkad of sorts for kids to hang out on a daily basis with the brand. Now, the brand might not necessarily be able to, on a daily basis, plug your character there, saying that, honey bunny ke saath seekhiye DIY and stuff like that, but it's absolutely fine, because at the end of the day, they are engaging with the brand, seeing that the brand actually has an intent to, do something for you at a time in which you are awfully bored at your place. So yeah, that's definitely one campaign last year that I would want to point out to.
Super. Thank you. If I can easily correlate it, all four of you eventually did share that the campaigns which you've shared, it's not about being salesy. And I think that is a very important lesson for all budding marketers. Especially even we at Kidzania, at times we get brands who are just looking at transactional sales, and you all know, being an experiential marketing platform, that is not the way a marketer should think. So I'm really happy you could, get that point out. I think with the paucity of time, I want a 3-4 minute extension. I hope the backend tech moderator, can you please help me with this? Because the last session, I'm leaving out all my other questions. So all four of you, quickly, we have Kidzania Council Kids. It's like a government of kids, which we elect every year. They go through, like roadies, they go through all the rounds and then they get elected. So we had reached out to them. They are attending a special event at 5 o'clock today at India Kids Summit. And we told them that they could ask 4 of you any questions they want. And we've shortlisted few questions. So let's make it rapid fire, just because we have less time. And you could just answer it quickly. So let me open. First is Titikshika Bhatara, 12 years. She's from South Delhi. Sonali, here we go. Question for you. Why does samosa only give energy and more health to Motu? Why not other food? So that's for you and your content team.
Samosa is a absolutely amazing food. If I'm not mistaken, it was among the most top ordered food as well in the lockdown, along with biryani and pizza. And I read something where not only in India, it's breaking boundaries globally. And samosa is this deep fried patty that has made many a person smile and feel not just physically happy, but mentally happy. So yeah.
That's a super answer. And all this is being recorded, and we've told them we'll be sharing the recordings with them in case, if they can't attend this session.
Yes.
Next is for Lokesh. This is coming from Parik, 10 years, Malabar Hill, Amchi, Mumbai. So she says, I recently read about Mattel's playback program where kids can send their old toys back for recycling. This program is super exciting. I wanted to know if such a playback scheme exists in India, and when will it be coming, if not?
So I think, Pari, you have hit the nail on its head. I think we are in the final stages of finalizing the plan on this. You would hear it from all the resources that you follow online or offline or wherever you heard this from. In a couple of months or 3 months, you will hear the good news. And I'm really, really happy that kids today are very, very aware, or very, very aware about the kind of recycling initiatives that the brand should do. So yes, Pari, we are bringing it to India. Please give us a few more months, maybe 2 or 3 months at the max, and we'll be happy to present it to you.
Super. Next is for Sujoy from Shardul Apte, 12 years, Mumbai. How do you make your own characters? What all goes into creating such a character? So if in 1 minute, Sujoy, you'll have to...
Yeah, we allow kids to make their characters, honestly. So just to give you an example, we were giving away a lot of toys as a part of our CSR exercise, and we realized most kids asked for a battery operated car, and with that was born Kiko and Super Speedo as characters, right? So that's how we generate most of our content. It is we hear. So if he has, Mr. Apte has an idea to share with us in terms of what character he would like to see, we would be very happy to hear.
Got it. Next one for Azmat This is from Sagar Roy, 11 years old, Delhiite. What new shows can we look forward to in Discovery Kids?
Oh, lots. In fact, Sagar, right? Sagar, we have some really exciting propositions coming up for you in 2022. Without giving away a lot, I just say that, Little Singham was made out of a movie IP and it did what it did for the industry. So there's lots more in the pipeline. In fact, Little Singham is getting bigger, better, stronger, and slicker. So do keep a watch out, and we love to keep hearing feedback.
Thank you. 4 more questions quickly. Dhruv from Delhi. For you, Sonali. How did the shooting making of cartoon like Motu Patlu take place during the pandemic? Was it still in the studio or everything was done over the clouds?
I love this. I love this question.
This has been planted by everybody here on the panel. No. On a serious note, yeah, so it was done very much in the safety of people's studios and homes. And yeah, maybe a bit of it even on the clouds, but there was nothing shot. It's animated, there was nothing shot.
Thank you. Lokesh, next one for you from Anirudh, 11 years, Mumbaiite. Again, I enjoy playing board games with my family and friends. However, these days, many prefer playing the games online or the video games. How do I convince them? So again, we don't have much time. So he wants to hear from you.
Send me your address. I'll be very happy to send a hamper to you and your friends together. You guys can get on a Zoom call like we are speaking to you right now today. Uno is the best game that I can suggest you that you play online, whether with your friends or offline, whether with your family at home. But send me your address. I'll be very happy to send a hamper of board games to you, your family, and your friends.
Thank you. Last 2 questions quickly. Azmat. This is Pooja Arora, 12 years, Mumbaiite. She wants to know what are the main hurdles you face during the shoot of your wildlife series and episodes. So again, she is, I think, an animal lover.
About Discovery Network.
I know.
So, okay, no problem. The biggest hurdle that we faced this year is that we couldn't shoot at all. So it couldn't get worse at all. I still do not have my Into the Wild episode with Bear Grylls. So yeah, we couldn't shoot. That was a hurdle.
Thank you. And last question, it goes for Sujoy. Pakhi Raghav, 13 years, Delhiite. When are we getting Kapil Sharma back with Ani Bani? This time, please get Bachcha Yadav as well.
Sure, we'll do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, for sharing your thoughts, also being candid. I hope I really had a great time. I hope you all enjoyed as much. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you, Karan. Sorry, not rapid jaw, Karan. Thank you, Taran.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely.
Thank you. It was great talking to all of you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Bye.